Leave it right there so they know we fucking trying to kill ourselves.
Nah, boy.
It's our little pre-game here, dog.
Hey, guys. Welcome back to the Odyssey Podcast, episode 9. We are seated here with somebody I'm proud to call a friend, Mr. Viren Neel, one of the greatest...
Here comes, bro.
Keep it going.
One of the greatest artists in Trinidad and Tobago right now. And surprisingly, it's not in the genre of soca, Trinidad, or anything along those lines.
Something unique. Well, not unique. Unique to, I guess.
Unique to here for sure. Well, what's the genre?
Oh, dog, that's a great question. Maybe that's something we can expand on later.
For sure.
But to answer that, I don't know.
But it's indie.
Yeah, indie rock, indie pop, folk,
Indie pop.
blues, soul.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, just a little bit more about Viren. He's a singer, songwriter, composer, and guitarist. He came out to the music scene seriously with his debut single, Change, which was literally top 5 in the country of the most listened songs on Apple, and was it on Spotify?
It was on Apple Music.
Apple
Trinidad.
Music, which is still like huge, right?
So Viren's writing touches on the areas of politics and society, psychedelia and surrealism, and the beauty of life on Earth, space, and the psychology of the human mind and family, and has been likened to some of the literary and musical giants of the 20th century, such as Bob Dylan and Joni Mitchell.
Anyways, Ollie, he's the hottest thing in Trinidad right now. I'm not just saying that because he's a friend. He's doing big things. He's come a very, very long way from just singing covers of other people's music to making his own and building a fan base, a huge fan base.
Yeah, for it, boy.
Anyways, yeah, we're just going to jump into the journey a little bit. All right, guys, sorry to interrupt all the podcasts. But thanks for all the continued support, and we appreciate you all so much. We have our first sponsor, BeyondYoga or BeyondYoga TV. They are a yoga studio based on Ryson Road, and what they intend to do is enrich your lives through yoga and encourage you to take your practice beyond the yoga mat and into your lives, right? So all the time, every single day, they have 2 in-person classes, and they have an online platform with a bunch of classes also. And as someone who's been to a couple of their classes before, I could tell you that yoga is something that is nothing that quite grounds you like yoga or clears your mind. And forget about the gym, you wouldn't even need that because yoga is a real workout.
So BeyondYoga has provided some special discounts for our viewers. They have a monthly unlimited yoga pass for their newcomers, which is usually $250, but you will get it for 40% off at $150. They also have 5-day and 10-day passes, which we will be getting for 20% off. You can see the prices somewhere here. And at the end of this clip, we'll make sure to put BeyondYoga's details so you could follow them, like their stuff, see what they're about, check out any clips, past classes, their instructors, and see if that's something that you would want to do. And we'll actually have new discount codes for you guys every episode, so make sure to stay tuned.
But yeah, everyone tell us, well, that's our intro view, and what do you...
Viren Neel coming in like a rolling stone.
Who are you, Viren? Who are you?
Who am I,
In your words, try not to use anything we just read or said.
Who am I? You know, I am a long time lover of music, you know, ever since I was 4 years old. I mean, like, it's not something I decided later on in my life, this might be a nice hobby. It's just kind of something that was always there. I always like to say, like, music is literally like a breath in and a breath out to me, you know? So I'm a music guy. I am a big social person. I love people, and thankfully the music has brought together a community that supports me and, you know, fosters my love of people, you know, and getting to know people better. So yeah, I feel very lucky and grateful for that.
Right. So where did the passion of music start? When did it start, if you could remember?
I mean, like, really and truly, like, it is hard to dig into how a kind of like liking or leaning towards something at 4 years old. You know, it's just something that just happens. You just end up this, and you don't have the capability then to think why you like something. You know, I guess if I could say now, I think it was probably, and, you know, is actually kind of like funny, but is not, I would like to say is out of the love for music, but when I was 4 years old, I'm sure it was probably like stardom. I found that was quite interesting to me, and, you know, watching movies.
Jumping into TV, though.
Yeah, and, you know, you look at this, and I think it was probably Hannah Montana. You know, like, I was like, wow. You know, and like,
For kicks to be famous.
I didn't actually think about that, but it could really be that, you know, because I really used to watch Hannah Montana back then, and she was doing like kind of similar music in a sense to me, and that was like my first exposure to like an artist really performing for large groups of people that love them, you know. So I was fascinated by that, and, you know, the exposure to the guitar, like, you know, a guitar is a symbol of being a rock star, you know. So it wasn't even like any kind of grander calling towards guitar, which ended up becoming my main instrument. But it's really, I just thought that was cool as fuck, you know.
Big up Miley.
Yeah, big up Miley for real. Yeah. So, but that was not the first instrument I played, actually. It was my first instrument when I grew up in an Indo-Trinidadian background. So I was exposed to a lot of like Indian and Hindu music growing up from like family, and just like that kind of culture I grew up around. And I was drawn originally to the Indian instrument, the dholak, right? And I could still kind of play it to this day, and I always wanted to incorporate it somehow into my music. And
I have a question. What the fuck is that?
so you
You're supposed to know that, brother. What is that? I don't know it, but you're supposed to know.
well, okay, you know a tabla.
Right.
Yeah, it's like the two.
Yeah, sorry. Is the drums you talking about?
Yeah, the drums. So like the two little. Hold on, let me see.
Like a kind of.
We'll put a picture on the screen for anybody who's
like a big
ignorant as myself.
bongos.
All right, yeah, kind of like a bongo dog, like this. Those things there. Right. So there's the tabla, and then there's the dholak, which is like a singular one. And
A big
Why
stick.
are you supposed to know that?
is this one.
You're like,
My glasses not on there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hold on.
you're like 20% Indian, though. You're supposed to have that.
Big man thing?
Yeah, he is, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that's what it's called.
Yeah. I mean, that's the like less popular one. But yeah.
You have a big drumstick or like you have to use your hand.
No, that's when we talking about tassa. So like I don't know what they call that in tassa. I just call that the bass.
So that's not part of like the tassel
Nah, this is not part of the
range
tassa.
of instruments.
Nah. I don't know how to play tassa, boy. That
No, but you gotta fix that, boy.
yeah. Yeah. Guess that's a tassa side.
That's terrible.
But nah, that would be played for like more like Hindu ceremonies, actually. And I went to a Hindu primary school, and that was kind of like, that was the music they pushed back then. It was like guitar was still an idea. It was like still an end goal. But then what was accessible was dholak. And I realized then music could be something that I would follow for the rest of my life, because I became quickly good at it, you know, and I went for lessons for a bit, and I became like good. I was like playing for my school and shit since I was like 6-7 years old. Then I started playing piano, and that was like rough thing, like just to give me a better idea, a general idea of like music theory. And then when I was 10, this is like probably one of the most important stories of my life, but it was coming up to my birthday, and I told my parents I wanted a guitar, right? So we went down quite south to there was this, I forget the name of the place, but real south, and we went into this big music store, right? And we found this guitar, and I didn't even play it, I just watched it. Cause I didn't I just watched it, and I was like, oh, this is such a pretty instrument. And I legit, my parents was like, okay, cool. This could be something we could look at doing. And maybe they were going to look at it and, probably buy it after and surprise me for my birthday. But dog, I remember, I don't know why, but I went in the back of my car, like when we go on in the car to go back home. I sit down in the back of the car and I was 10 and I just started like kind of just crying in the back, dog. And they were like, Viren, what are you crying for? I was like, Mommy, I love that guitar so much. So they didn't buy it for my birthday. They just where they was like, you know what?
Why not?
Let me go and buy it right now.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
you win.
Tears were-
Yeah, and that's still the guitar, and that's like the most
Have
entry
you seen one you
level.
have?
John?
Oh no, not this one. This
Okay.
one came later. This is my electric guitar, right? Because like a lot of people don't know this about me. Like the acoustic guitar is so convenient to play. It's like nothing to worry about amplifier and this and that. Like you just go to acoustic guitar. You could be anywhere, do anything. They just had a mic up like this. You're good. You could perform. But I am like really good. Like I would say like as far as guitar goes, like I'm an electric guitar player. That's like where my roots come from. Like, and like, you wouldn't think with my music, but I am a motherfucker that shreds. Like
I'd love to hear that.
yeah, bro. Like, nah, you'll just see me play. Like, people are just always so surprised because I never really. But it's also like a part of like my skill with guitar that I kind of take for granted because like it's so electric guitar is so easy for me, But I just don't really show it honestly. But yeah, so we got that, and it was like one of the greatest feelings of my life, that was not influenced by any. Actually, yeah, we'll fucking cut that. It was one of the greatest feelings of my life, Yeah. Getting that guitar, dog. And yeah, I had it collecting dust for a year. I would literally just play these strings. I didn't know how to press any of these things, and then I started going for guitar lessons. Did that for 2 years, and then my guitar instructor told me, he's like, well, I have nothing more I could teach you. And I got like this pedal where you could loop chords on, and I started like soloing that. Like, so just playing whatever notes I think sounded right to like certain backing tracks. And I would just do that. And I never, that's why I never practiced guitar a day in my life. I would practice for a show, but as far as practicing guitar to get better, it was never that. I was just always drawn to just having it there and just doing things on it, so it's like, and I guess one could call that practice, but like I never looked at it as like, I was like, just, let me get this guitar and just do whatever. And because of that, I think I became like good fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the story of guitar. And well, later on it would lead into like, you play guitar and then you reach a point where it's like, okay, I feel like I could do anything I want on guitar. I wouldn't say I mastered it, but I just became like good and didn't have any really need to get better than that at that point. So I was like, okay, let me go to the next step, which is singing on it. So that led into the whole phase of covers and performing and everything. And then that led into, you get fed up of covers, just like you get fed up of like doing more things on guitar, and then it came into writing, and here we are now. Yeah.
All right, well, that was a quick synopsis of everything. But let me go back a little bit. Since you love music from so long ago, 4 years old, you said, we know because we're your friends that you didn't study music or anything in school. What was the story behind that?
I guess a lot of people in Trinidad could relate to what I'm going to say here, but it's like Trinidad is a very academically oriented country. And I know at least in the Indian perspective, it's like, to have that, stereotype, Indian parents and thing, pushing you in one direction and
Yeah, strong tunnel vision. Though.
Yeah. And, like, my parents, I would say, like, this is also, which is why I dedicated Sunset Lane to my family, because it's like, I feel like my parents made all the right decisions for me. You know, they didn't push me into the music, but they also didn't push me into doing something, you know, normal and following the straight and narrow. You know, it was, they said they think it would be best for me to do a subject like science, you know, like science subjects through CSEC and then CAPE. And then, you know, on the side, that not stopping you from pursuing your music, right? And when I look back in hindsight, I mean, well, this would be a topic that would just, if we go into this, would just take so long. But like I don't believe in free will, you know, but I think these decisions being made for me worked out for the good. And looking back on it now, like I'm happy where I'm in life. So of course I would look at me getting pushed, like me getting led into doing science in school, and then later on in university doing business, into being where I am as a musician right now. But I really like that it didn't push me, because I think if they pushed me, I would have become a bit too rebellious and go straight into the music. I would be like, oh, fuck all yeah. You know, I just doing music. And if they pushed me into the music, I would have probably lose my passion, you know, because music, I think what fueled my music also is that not everyone was saying, go ahead, do it. You know, you're going to be successful. You always know, like even now still, I believe like I may not be successful, while a lot of people will say I might, you know, like still growing up, like I just have that in the back of my head, you know, like this is such a small chance, you know, to do something great in an art field, you know. But I'm so lucky. So far, I am part of that small chance. You know,
it's high risk, high reward, though.
Yeah, and so it just worked out perfectly like that. You know, I did science, and it gave me like a real analytical mind, and ability to write better, like writing essays and papers and shit. And then doing business in college just gave me the business I needed to run a business as a musician. You know, so I think, you know, it just all worked out so perfect. And if anyone wants to do the same, go forth. You know, I believe like the last thing you want to be in the world is a struggling artist. You know, it is it could seem like a very lots of integrity to that, but no, you know, it's also quite noble to be a doctor and play guitar on the side or whatever and perform on the weekends. You know, I like make your money. I'll tell you that. You know, because right now, you know, like I work in software, and like I did not think earning a salary would have helped me so much as a musician, but now I'm reaching to the point where all the little, you know, cheap things I used to do in the past for my music, you know, like just try and negotiate like the cheapest possible thing with some photographer here or some videographer there, and sacrifice the marketing for a song. Now I realize I can, you know, like, and I'm earning that. Wow, I could do things that I always thought impossible because of cost. So me working now in business, in software, has allowed for me to push my music at a faster rate than in the first 2 years of being in because I started releasing my own original songs when I was in university. And within this last year, finishing university, because I graduated last year, it's just been going up. You know, and it's because I've been pushing more on the marketing and consistency of release and better campaigns, you know. So do that, you know. I think it worked good for me. And yeah, coming back to the writing the essays and the papers and thing, it trained me in a way of looking at life in a different way. And in that way, I feel like I was able to digest humanity better and put that on paper in my songs. You know, so I think as for being I don't think it's necessary, because lots of people did otherwise and were very successful. But I think it will help being a student and being passionate about academia in being a songwriter.
I'm sure like most parents have the idea of a struggling artist in their heads when they're like kids say,
For sure.
You know, I want to be like a singer, songwriter. I want to like paint or whatever. And your real dreams die right there. Because as your parents ask that, you just don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So
I think any parents watching this and they have like a kid, you know, like who interested in some kind of like artistic endeavor, you know, even if they don't pursue it as like a real deal thing that they hoping to be big in, like music, being able to play guitar and just noodle on guitar has provided me better therapy than I ever received in my life from literal therapists, friends, your own parents and family. Like just me being so stressed, just going on the guitar, it's just you on the guitar. Like, it's so weird because it's such a like a subconscious thing. Like once I pick up a guitar, you could be saying anything. One ear goes out the next.
flow though.
Yeah, flow. Yeah. And yeah, I love that whole topic of flow. You know, this guy, I read this book, the guy who like kind of invented that concept. His name is Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi, and I just found that so fascinating, dog. And like, I realized that's me with guitar. You know, like I could try or not try. I just get in flow, you know. But yeah, it saved me. It saved my life, you know. Which is why my biggest fear in the whole world is losing my fingers. You know.
Yeah, but in truth.
Yeah.
So how do your parents feel now about like what you're doing? Do they like keep abreast of like?
Oh my God, they're so proud of me, you know, like
That's good, dog.
I'm
We're proud of you
so
too, buddy.
happy, dog. Like, you know, like they were always so skeptical over the years, and it's like now that it's like I think something every artist could dream of, you know, like, and I think I could achieve so much more success in my life, but it's like I'm doing things now that like one would consider small, but to me is the world. You know, and it's like,
dog, you're doing good. Don't downplay it, dog.
yeah, dog. You know, but I mean, like you being the person, like it's hard to like see that sometimes because just you going through the day to day, you know, but yeah, like, you know, my parents, like they were always kind of skeptical, but they always knew like definitely I had something there, but like again, they know the reality. But for them now, it's
Especially in Trinidad.
yeah, especially in Trinidad. But them now seeing what I do, and it's like anywhere I go out now, like we'll go to see a movie with my parents, and it's like someone is bound to stop me and be like, "Bro, change my life," or some shit like that, you know. And they just look and they're like, "Wow," you know. And I was telling my dad in the car there. I went to yacht club last night, and I met this guy, and like he was like, this local rock band like Orange Sky, which is probably like the biggest like alternative / rock band in Trinidad. And it's like every rocker, because me being a guitarist, I started off in rock. Like while now I make soft music and thing and lovey-dovey music and shit. Like I started off as a rocker. I was in a heavy metal band, all kind of things. So it's like there's the rock community, and like Orange Sky is like God, you know. And then I would like, but they listen to my music now and they love it. They listen to it all the time. If they're going on tour and shit, they listen to it. So I met one of the guys last night who's like the social media manager, and he was like, "Dog, yeah, to come line with the boys and take a jam session and thing." And I was telling my dad in the car, I was like, "Daddy, you know, they asking me to come and jam with Orange Sky, and you know, they were just listening to me last night and thing." And my dad was like, all the things I could tell my dad about me meeting Russian or SHENSEA, this and that, Orange Sky is like he was like, "Dog, Viren, like, you know,
You made it, boy.
you made it, bro." Yeah. He was like, look at this, you know, what, like in these 3 years, you know. And yeah, you know, I was really stepped back to think. And I don't want to talk like, you know, I done reach, you know, because, bro, I'm about 15% there, honestly.
Nah,
I have a long way to go.
Less than that.
Dog, I mean,
I know, I'm not fucking you up.
Yeah.
You remember I told you this on the last podcast. I expect so much from you. So that's why I say less than 15%.
It's not even about like where you are now, dog. It's like the strength, it's the momentum, dog.
Yeah.
And your trajectory, dog. Is you literally all you have to do is just continue doing what you're doing now,
Yeah.
and I guarantee you're gonna
But you
never
see,
need to go.
coming to the topic of momentum, which is why it's weird and I never know if I'm doing the right thing, is because other people, depending on their perspective of me, they see me at different levels of momentum. You know, you're all kind of in my life in a way that you're seeing all the cool stuff that happening and you see a positive momentum. Maybe someone even further away from me see a even greater momentum, and me, well, I guess the people like even closer to me, less and less, you know, and me being the actual person on the day to day, I feel like I'm never doing enough. And really and truly, you could never do enough.
Yeah, of course.
You know, there's always more you could do. Another TikTok you could post, another story, a reel.
But as the motivational
Yeah.
factor, though, like thinking you're not doing enough is what's driving you to do more. And that's
No,
exactly
but
what you
I
need.
just go and watch a movie. And cast out of my head. I was like,
well, sometimes it's balance.
Yeah, bro. Hey,
Nah, you're on a good
balance.
path, though. You're on a good path.
Yeah.
So, Viren, I heard a story. I need to confront you about it, dog. I heard that during Island Crashes,
Yeah.
or around that weekend, whatever, you were like going around in Crown Point with a guitar, like serenading random people and things. Dog, is that
Yeah.
true?
Okay, so not exactly. But yeah, this was around 2019. This was during Island Crashers weekend. My brother went Island Crashers. I just went there for a chill weekend with my dad.
Respect.
And we were staying in Crown Point. And how it happened is I was sitting down at the bar in Crown Point. When these Fatima men come up to me and they were like, "Hey, Guitar Boy from Twitter." You know, because around that time is that year, 2019, is when I started doing covers and posting it on Twitter and Instagram. And it was actually doing quite good. It was actually getting lots of shares and likes and comments and thing. And a lot of people, I think, came to know me at that time, which led to, I think, my first release being so positively received because of that time period. So anyway, he's like, "Oh, watch Guitar Boy from Twitter."
They come and clown thing.
So it definitely was a freaking clown thing. It wasn't no kind of, "Oh, Guitar Boy from Twitter."
Yeah, no glaze.
No kind of glaze.
That was before change. You wasn't here.
Yeah, they just see me. I was literally sitting down by myself, dog, and just drinking friggin' Malibu and coconut or something like that. And they come and was like, "Oh, watch Guitar Boy from Twitter." I just laughed that off, whatever. So I just there sipping my drink, them going somewhere in the corner there till I'm, and this guy and his girl called me from across the bar, you know. So I was like, whatever, let me go. They don't look like familiar faces at all. Go on, they started asking me questions about where I from, what's my name, this, and that. I was like, oh, fuck. Not these fucking swingers, bro. I ain't trying to go through all of this right now, dog. And then he told me, he was like, well, I'm a producer. And I was like, oh, really? What's your name? And he said his name is Prod MRI. And everybody who is like in the scene know this guy, Prod MRI. I didn't know how he looked or anything, but you know, everybody talking. I had some producer friends and thing, and you would see they talking about Prod MRI. He's hot shit. This, that. I was like, oh, fuck, wow. You know, so I was like, he was like, play me something. You have your guitar? I was like, yeah, dog, it's right there in my apartment. So I gone back in the apartment, get my guitar. And he was like, all right, come. We go on there watching the sea, and he sat me down, like, started playing some songs. And I played what then was just the first line of Change, because back then I only had the first line of Change. And he heard that, and I just thought, I was like, dog, but preface, I don't have the song done, but like I just started working on this like last year. I didn't build on it. And he was like, oh shit, that's real fucking hard. You know, so that kind of gave me that push. I was like, okay, if I am to do a song a year later, it would probably be this song because he said that's hard. So he told me, he was like, dog, I like your vibe. Come down to the studio. I live in San Fernando. Come down to the studio next week. So I was like, wait. So I did go down to San Fernando, long ass drive, you know. And I go on, and it was fine. We didn't record Change. We recorded another song because I couldn't finish Change by then, which we will touch on. I wasn't mature enough to finish the lyrics of Change back then. So I did another song called The Question As Old As Time. It was like about and this is another thing we could touch on later, but it was like about my relationship with God at that time, which was non-existent. You know, we went down, tracked that in 2019, and that was actually released in early 2021. But yeah, so there was that. His name is Richard McClashy, by the way. And come now in 2021, later in the year, I moved to Miami for university. And the first day, I knew I was going to Miami, and my managers told me they were close with Richard as well. And I still kept in touch with Richard, and they were like, yo, when you go to Miami, you definitely had a link with Richard to record some music, since you won't be in Trinidad, to link with your brother to produce shit. So I was like, wait. So that was definitely a plan. My first freaking day in Miami, I'm lying with one of my boys. I get a call from Neel. Happy birthday, Neel. She was like, Viren, I'm lying. You know this guy? He says he knows you, Richard McClashy. He was like, come and line with us now. We're going to my studio. I was like, what? No freaking way, dog. I was like supposed to link with him this week. So going down, first night in Miami, and we worked together, and we have this song. That same song on that first night we recorded is a song coming out between the two of us. Anyway, later in the year in Miami, I remember a couple weeks before he was telling me, he was like, dog, you know, this song real fucking hard. And the person who owns that studio is Russian, right? And he was like, yo, I'm playing it for Russian, and this man real like it. We see in the music industry, man, just tell you they play this for who and her, okay. You know, dog. So I sure real people probably big shots hear my music and thing already, but I don't mean shit, you know? You know, just sound in their ears. Anyway, so he told me Russian, but I still found out was real cool.
Of course.
Anyway, one random Tuesday in Miami, 2 a.m. in the morning, dog, I'm watching a movie, dog. I got a call from Richard. That's a big studio. That's a really big studio. The biggest reggaeton artists in Miami just record there. SHENSEA record there. All the big reggae artists record there as well. And so when a small man like me get a call at any time of the day to come in the studio, I take in that. Mm-hmm. So I looked at it like that. When he called me, he was like, come in the studio, and yeah, he didn't tell me any other thing. So I was like, all right, wait, I'll come in. Call a freaking Uber at 2 o'clock in the morning, heading down to the studio. Knock on the door. Who open the door? Fucking Russian, dog. And in my head, for a split second, I was like, yo, should I fucking fan out right now?
I can't glaze Russian, dog. Yeah. I'm real subtle, dog.
Oh my God! Yeah. So my first thought was like, oh, fuck, you know, like, dog, and being a man from Trinidad, maybe other people wouldn't understand this, but, like, being a young man from Trinidad, dog, like, Russian, I'm a cartel enthusiast. I'm a cartel academic, dog. You know, so Russian is the man that executed some of the best cartel songs of all time, some of my all-time favorite, and not just for dancehall, but for music in general. I think Cartel is a fantastic musician and lyricist. So, Russian opened the door, I think, to fan out. Dog, but instincts just go to, oh, brother, was he weird?
Play cool.
I just realized, like, oh, brother, was he weird? He's like, yo. so I went down in the studio. So immediately then I was like, nah, boy, this is the highlights of my career, dog. Yeah, big man thing. Wow, I just meet Russian, dog. You know, and like, I know even a year in my time in Miami is it. Like, I probably 2 months in. So I just sit down there, and I sit down him with some other guys from Jamaica and thing. Actually, before I even went in the door, I get pat down. Mm-hmm. Oh. You know? Yeah, like, because usually when I go in that studio, have nobody there, I just walk in. But I see a man outside, and they're like, who are you? I'm like, Viren, Richard called me to come. And he was like, whatever, he had a gun and thing. So
you didn't expect anything?
Well, at that point, I was like, oh, this weird. But like,
it's strange, but
yeah.
Parts me down to go and sing.
But I couldn't think of who could have possibly been there, you know? So walk in, oh, what's you weird? You know, sitting down, and they're like, yo, play us some tracks and things. I playing them. So it's him sitting down, and some of the Jamaican guys sitting down, and Richard sitting down as well. So all of that. Next thing you know, I hear the booth door open, because we in like the kitchen, right? I hear the booth door open, dog. SHENSEA walk out in a great tracksuit, bro. Like,
Sorry.
yeah. And oh my God, bro. Like, I was like, dog. But like, you know, like you see all these pictures of these people and thing, and it's like, they're so larger than life. And then right there, like, it's just like us right now, you know? And it's like, you know, like, I guess like, I guess I was starstruck, honestly.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And I was like, oh my God, like, look at us right here. And I was like, is that really you? And I was like, hi, nice to meet you. You know, like if I meet an any, you know, girl, I was like, oh my God, hi, nice to meet you. And just like that, and then Russian was like, yo, Trini. He was like, yo, Trini, run a song, Shen. See if you could pull a harmony. And so I started playing change of all songs, you know, and I was linking with Richard again, and I was playing change, and Russian and SHENSEA and I playing change, and the next thing you know, like I'm literally hearing SHENSEA harmonizing to my own song, bro. And you know what's actually wild, dog, is when change was fifth in the country in Trinidad, the one person above me was SHENSEA and Taras Riley for light it up or something like that. Yeah, lighter, yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow, were you nervous, like performing in front of them?
Not nervous, because coming back, okay, well, we could go into the topic of anxiety now.
Yeah,
you know, you could have a bubbling. I live in a general state of anxiety, you know, but I think I told you this at Sunsetters when I went up to play, is that sometimes you have more anxiety about a performance than others, sometimes you have less, but the anxiety is there. You know, you're going up to present in class, you have anxiety.
Always there.
You know, and even like, you know, like the coolest motherfucker on earth probably have a little bit of that. They maybe don't even recognize it, you know? So like, but when you're in the moment itself, coming back to flow, when I was singing that thing on the guitar, it's like your mind so in that there's nothing else to think about. Even if you tried, I think you couldn't think about anything. And anxiety is just a lot of thoughts that just kind of like riles you up. So I had no anxiety at all. I was actually quite comfortable and quite at bliss. And I couldn't even recognize then like how cool that was. You know, it was just like doing something and then afterwards doing something. And then, you know, all I could think about any moment was like, bruh, how could I send my friends this, dog? If I tell them I in some fucking room in Miami, like, you know, harmonizing with SHENSEA and freaking Russian, dog, you know, like, how will I tell them? Next thing you know, bruh, my Instagram started to vibrate. Check it, dog. One set of fucking Instagram notifications. Bro, I didn't even get a chance to pull out my phone and like sneak a little video of them. I see. Mentioned in a story by SHENSEA. Mentioned in a story by Russian.
I remember that, doctor. I sent it to you. I was like, what the hell is going on? I was
mentioned in a story by Romish Entertainment as SHENSEA's manager. And I was like, bruh, in one night, I get 1,000 followers, dog.
Nah, they plug you.
One set of people I ain't hear from since Standard 4, dog.
And say, where did this man reach? Time to jump on the train, dog. One time.
Yeah, dog. So that was in my 3 years, you know, as like Viren Neel releasing these songs. That was definitely one of the coolest. Also, to come back on the anxiety, honestly, like, it's weird. I find myself reach a point now, and I don't know how to explain it, but my last the Mixed Things show, I feel like that was a show I should have had a lot of anxiety for.
Yeah, not a lot of people.
Because it was a lot of people, and it was a lime setting, and also too, it was a lot of people. A lot of people didn't know me because it wasn't like I threw the show. It was like Mixed Things was previously established thing, and the fact that Mixed Things usually is known for either electronic music,
house,
or Caribbean music, or like Afrobeats or something like that. So I should have been very anxious for that, but interestingly, and I don't know why, I wasn't, like, at all. There was not a single bubble of anxiety in my body, I think. And then it makes me like change my whole thought about that. Maybe it's just like practice in settings like that. I think it is, you know, because Sunsetters, I was a little bit nervous you know, and I was kind of upset that performance was going to happen so late in the day, because I feel like I couldn't enjoy myself in the day. I had to cool it with the alcohol, cool it with whatever, you know, like, and that was cool. But yet still, when I just started performing, I mean, when I was in that rock band, dog, heavy metal band, I was 14 years old. I was in that band for a year. And like, I went and performed one time, and I had to like do like a crazy solo, and dog, like, that was probably the most nerve-wracking freaking point of my life, dog. Like, that 30 minutes to an hour before I literally went and performed, dog. Like, it was crazy. I was on the verge of vomiting. I was like, cancel the show, I can't do this, I can't do this.
And you weren't singing, you were just playing the guitar.
Just playing the guitar. Wow. So, and I wasn't even like the only guitarist. It had like a whole other guitarist. So it's like, not even like the whole thing was dependent on me. So, but I was so freaking nervous. And then like coming to singing now was, yeah, like it was pretty nervous. But, you know, now what saves me is that there's people who are coming for me as like a human. You know, there's the people who come for me as Viren, and they want to be there for me and like be there for the vibes that I curate. And then there's other people who just come for the sound, you know. And then the people who come for the sound, they, if anything, would instill a little bit of anxiety, because you want to give them the best that you could give them.
So is it that you're worried that they'll like it or not? So then when people who already like the songs come to see you perform, you don't have to really worry about that.
Yeah. If people like love me and love me as an artist, like any mistake I could make, is fine. I mean, you look at, at a grander perspective, you look at some major artists and thing, and they do some fucked up shit. You know, it have like Chris Brown, dog. Like, people love Chris Brown, bro. He did quite not good things. You know, dog. You know. So it's like, so there's that kind of like safety in that thinking. But all the new people is it like who coming in and seeing me for the first time, there's an anxiety in that, because you want to be the best for them. You know, you want to have them leave the show and be like, that man real bad boy.
Yeah, so I boil social anxiety down to two things. Well, for me personally is, in my experience, is anticipation of the future and caring what people think. Right? I find as soon as you find yourself not present and you're thinking ahead, or you're dwelling on the past and things, then you find yourself in problems.
Yeah, I think I don't know, I feel like the whole caring about people thinks part of anxiety. Sometimes, like, you kind of have to, though, like, depending on what you're doing. Like, say you're doing a performance, or like you have a big presentation to do, you kind of have to care, because like you have to do good, right? So it's not to say like it's like dancing in a party where like caring about people things has no impact on what you're doing. Sometimes you really had to study that, but I feel like anxiety is one of those things where, you know, everybody experiences it and it like never goes away. You just kind of get seasoned, and you over time you become like more capable at managing it, and that's all you really had to do. So it's like if something gives you anxiety, you really just had to like dive into it and do it multiple times, so that when you actually have to do it in front of people, it's just not the same. Like you could control it.
Yeah. Sometimes you really have no choice. I mean, you always have a choice, but, you know, if it's important things like giving a presentation in class and things, it's like, you know, that anxiety exists and you acknowledge it, but, you know, you have to do this thing. And it's kind of like music, you know, at the end of the day, is a business and it's a service you're giving to people, especially if they're paying to come to see you. Mm-hmm. But, you know, interestingly, like what you said just now, Christian, about, you know, caring what people think and, you know, anticipation of the future and the results of whatever you're doing, and how anxiety contributes to that. Dog, back in my cover phase, probably the worst show I ever had. It's probably like my only like show where it was like really objectively bad. And it was in Kaiso Blues back in the day, in my cover era. This was about 2017. I was in high school and I had to perform these covers, and right before I go into perform, like, yeah, I had real anxiety that day. And that, like, I used to have lots of anxiety back then when it comes to performing. And especially why I came to hate covers is because people know covers more than you, you know, and at least my songs, I made the fucking songs. So, you know, it's like, that's cool. But this, I going up on stage and, you know, I already have anxiety and I real nervous. And my mom comes up to me and she was like, she was like, Viren, you better do good, It's real important people here. And
Death. Death.
That's painful, though.
Death by anxiety.
Look, I was bad all day, but now, boy, that sent up my heart rate. I was like, fuck. You know, so I got up on the stage, bro, and I'm playing, and I would say is like I had hardly practiced, so I was practicing, but like I was busy in school that week, and I was like, nah, I got this, you know. So I gone up, and it comes to a point. I'm like, usually as an artist, you could make mistakes, and you could either choose to acknowledge it, and people will recognize, or most of the time, if you don't acknowledge it, people don't know. You know, like at least non-musicians wouldn't know when you make a mistake, because you do so much songs after that, they clean forget about that. They lost any vibe, you know. So. But this was one of those cases. It's like I was making mistake after mistake. It was so bad. Like anybody could have tell, oh shit, this man ain't in practice. This is like not professional at all, you know. And it come to the point like I was losing the words to these songs. Like I clean forget, and I was so thinking about impressing these important people. And like I shaking my hand, pull out from the back of my pocket, written down lyrics to a song, and I rest it on a stool next to me. And I'm like singing, looking down at that, and I skipping lyrics and all kind of thing. And dog, it was
sounds so rough. Though.
It was a mess, bro. I was like, it was the one time in my life I came off the stage. My mom watched me. She was like, nice man. I hope you're proud of yourself.
Though.
I don't know if she said exactly that.
Simply perished.
That's terrible.
Rough.
Yeah,
dog. Cause that too, though. What is my number?
Yeah, and she probably didn't even know that the impact that had on me. And you know, if I said, "Well, mommy, you shouldn't have tell me that," she's like, "Oh, so now you blaming your lack of practice on me?"
Yeah.
You know, but that was the only time, and that's how I know my parents are honest. Because all my other shows, they will tell me like if they love it or not, and they always loved it. You know, some like and what I like these days is these last couple of shows. My parents, if they were there at the show, they always tell me like, "Viren, this show was, you know, amazing. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. It's your best show yet." So I've been getting a lot of best shows yet, but I know if I fuck up, it'll come back down to that, and they will be honest about that. Yeah. But it was a silent car ride home. Yeah, I will say that. You know, I just sit down there marinating in my bad decisions of lack of practice. But the solution to that in cases like that is just practice, and that's why I learned from it. I'm like, if I ever go into a show, like, you always like what the anxiety makes you do is it makes you fear that you're gonna make a mistake. But what I found is if I have a lot of practice is that all that anxiety reduces to nothing when you go on the stage, and your mind creates these links, and you'll subconsciously you'll know the lyrics. It will just flow, and it has always worked if I really practiced. So and come back to what you said. You put yourself in a lot of, because now, interestingly enough, at mixed things, well, we spoke on that. It have that recorded, right? I think I heard it in the video there. Well, yeah, mixed things was weird because I didn't have a single bubble of anxiety in me, and I think that might because and change my whole perspective on the whole anxiety thing, because that I was coming from a lot of shows and I was performing all my songs and I knew the whole thing, and like I was worried about mixed things because mixed things is not my show. It's a previously established thing, and people are coming for electronic music or Caribbean music or Afrobeat, you know? So it's like, I was worried, you know, they watch this man playing fucking indie and like, you know, some depressing songs and shit like that. And like, I was worried about that. But weirdly, and you know, that's also a Lyman atmosphere. People didn't come for live music. You know, though there were a lot of people who came for me performing, like I think the majority of people came for the Lime and like, you know, just having a grand old time. So I was worried like about that. But no, I didn't have anxiety at all. And I did make a mistake and at the end. And I did acknowledge that mistake, but thankfully for the community, like they loved that mistake. It wasn't forgiven. It was that was a perfect way to end it. You know, it's like I ended it. So I was like, oh fuck, and then good night everyone. But it was weird. I'm looking back at the videos, and like when I said that, it's like people only turned to look to and like recognize the mistake when I said, oh fuck. So they wouldn't have even known, you know, and to me it was such a big blunder. I had to say, oh fuck, you know.
I mean, that kind of ties back to something you said earlier with the whole, like, sometimes when you go out and people like, don't hail you or like the conversation a little off. Half the time, that has nothing to do with you. That's just them going through their own motion. Like, everybody's so caught up in their own mind and what's going on. They don't really studying you then, and even with like hate and thing too, like it half time has nothing to do with you though. It's just them like projecting their own shit onto you. And
I found a lot of comfort in that when I go out. Like if I having a conversation with someone and like they're like a little like far removed, or like I would feel like they were a little unfriendly to me, I just know like to my knowledge, I didn't do you anything wrong, you know? So it have no reason for you to be getting on like that with me. But then, you know, that's when the anxiety is coming because they think, oh, what did I do this person? You know? Yeah, well, I had to scan my brain, but most of the time, it's good. You know? So, anxiety.
Like, since we're on the topic of hate, though, like, I know that, like, we real gas you. And like at least, and what I see online is everybody just like supporting. But do you get any serious or like just a little slight hate from anybody?
Especially at the beginning of the journey.
Oh, well. Now, I think I'm quite fortunate now. And I was saying this last time we tried the podcast, is that I feel like, I think at least, obviously, like I might be the last person to hear the hate, honestly. You know, like people would hate more over and you see Viren do this and that and what, you know, but like, I think I'm at a point right now where it's like, I'm not like the whole world not talking about me as yet, you know, because it's like the people we know and thing you'd be hearing my name a lot and thing, but it's like a whole big world outside of like outside of our little like community in Trinidad, you know, so it's like, they don't know shit about me and what I do in here, you know, so I think I reach a point where like I'm a lot of people just look at me as coming up, and like when people see someone is like coming up but not like quite there yet, they're like quite supportive, you know. But like I feel like it gets risky at the point where you start to get to a point where people perceive you're better than them, you know, and like that's why I try to be like completely honest with people and to the best I could be, you know, because it's like I doing this and I'm so lucky to be able to have this ability to create music like this and to have a community like this in Trinidad of a couple of thousand people who really support me. But like, you know, I feel as a person, like as the man doing all of this, like on my day-to-day, you know, it doesn't feel like all of that. You know, it doesn't feel like how people will look at it. And I try to be honest about that, you know, about, you know, like whatever anxiety or depression I would think, or like if I'm nervous or this and that, or like things I worry about that they would not think I would be worrying about, you know. So it's like I just like to level with the audience, which comes back to the thing about like why I don't like to call it fans. People could call themselves my fans. I would love that, you know, but like I don't like to call people my fans because it's like, yet still it's like, you know, the analytics tell me there's 5,000 people in Trinidad who regularly listen to me, and yet still, like, 5,000 bodies presented in front of you would look like a lot, but
big party.
yet still, I think my music, and this is one of the biggest things I'm grateful about in my music, is me being a people person. My music has acted as a great filter for people I would have loved to meet through my life that I wouldn't have otherwise, so it's a community and I'm level with them, like, this is just my service to them. And they give me things in return, be it conversations or praise or things, it's an exchange, or they pay to come to my shows. So I think I'm at a point right now. Obviously, there might be, handful of people out there who hating on me and don't like some of my choices and such in life, but they ain't out there, They will come out there in time, if I continue this path, and it keeps on getting better. But that's right now, and I'm glad I don't have much hate right now. I did experience one or two hate when I posted I wanted to promote one of my songs last year, Sunsets and You. So I wanted to post real TikToks, and I started posting TikToks, and I posted one TikTok, and it got 50 likes and 2 comments, right? And it was I have no problem with hate. I know that's part of the whole thing, but there's hate mixed in positive comments. But no, I post that TikTok, boy, and I get the only 2 comments was hate. And it's 50 likes. So it was no, I know if that was only the 40 page and they first coming across me, dog, imagine that's your first exposure to me in life.
And the first thing you do is check the comments on TikTok.
Check the comments. And one of them, and both of them, of course, is accounts with no profile picture or some weird name. One name was hamburger chicken or something like that. And he comments, he was we don't care. And the next person was you sing like shit.
Dog, if I see that notification pop up on my phone, I will lose my mind.
Yeah.
That's rough.
So, dog, anybody would tell you, if I tell you that now, what would you tell me? Dog, them men don't have profile pictures and thing, and don't have a real name and thing. Obviously, don't take on that. Well, I did quite the opposite. I gave a fuck. I gave a big fuck.
I want to talk.
And I was down for at least a day, bro. I deleted.
Don't bother me, mom.
Dog, I deleted the whole TikTok, bro. I was no, dog. I'd rather have 100 hate comments and no positive comments than 2. You at least want to stir up something, that so much people hating on you.
Yeah,
but now,
100%
it was 50 likes and 2 hate, bro. And nothing else. Not even wow, Viren, bro, love your music, nothing like that. So I deleted them fucking TikToks, and I didn't make TikToks for months.
Leave it up, dog. I would have loved to put that up on the screen right now.
Dog, no way. I think I put it in my drafts or something like that, dog. So it's probably still there. But yeah, but if we're talking in the beginning, I did have hate. Definitely, because it was so easy to hit. I didn't sing nearly as good. I probably sing 5% of what I sing now, because I always used to be worried. I'm surprised. I actually, you see, this is the teenage mind. Now I feel I'm you all might feel the same, but being a 20-something-year-old, you feel a little more realistic about the world and your capabilities, which it shouldn't be, but that's how I think now. I'm can I really pick up a new skill? I feel that's hard, even though I'm so young still, and I should. Maybe that's just excuses, honestly. But back then, I believed I could do anything. And to a great extent, I believe I could do anything now. I really believe anything is possible if you really have that in your mind. But back then, I set myself into singing, and my voice was so shit. My speaking voice right now, you would never think, which a lot of people are so surprised when they hear me sing, is not at all how I speak, and I was like worried because before I had like vocal training, like I used to be singing and thing, and my brethren would make fun of me. But like, of course, like because I wasn't like putting myself out there, so that's okay. Like if you sing to fucking Christian, of course Christian will clown you.
Yeah, of course.
You know, so that's how it was. And then I went vocal training, so it became a little more serious. And I did the vocal training for a year. And then I started singing. So I reached a point where, okay, I could sing to an extent that I could perform to people. And I did that. And my voice was heavily accented. It was like I used to sing a lot of Ed Sheeran song, like covers and things. So I used to sound so incredibly British, you know. And to me, that is so cringe. Like being a Trinidadian artist, like I won't sing in a Trinidad dialect. It just like the demands of the genres that I sing would not even allow for that. You know, so I try to sing in, you know, what they call Trinidadian standard English, you know, so just this like, you know, British influence, but still like not put on, you know, so that's why I aim for, maybe I might, you know, sway a little bit depending on like whatever song like I wrote, but anyway, so I would sing, but my voice was like, you could see I was trying to sing good. You know, now it's so easy because my voice developed over the years. And that's why I was so surprised. It's like, I always thought you were born with the voice you get and you just had to work with that. But like, no, that's what they call it, vocal. I trained my voice, you know, and I believe anyone could do that at any age, you know, with the right mindset, you know. So I was so surprised. Like, even while I was vocal training, I was thinking, look, there's a fucking hoax. Like, you can't change my voice, you know, dog. Like, yeah,
this man is a fraud.
Yeah, like, you can't change my voice. Like, how am I gonna be able? I'm a shit singer, you know, like while I know a bunch of people who didn't even have vocal training, they would just sing and be like, oh my God, you sound so good, you know?
But what is it though? Like, what are you doing to change your voice?
I don't know, it must be shaping your chords in some kind of way.
You're singing like different notes and thing? And
yeah, and like there's like lots of like, I think it's establishing like patterns in your speech in a way and your breathing. And once you establish that, it's like, just kind of like treating like your vocal cords as an instrument.
Okay.
And, you know, like muscle memory, perhaps. So it gets to that. But anyway, so I realized that years into my thing, I'm like, dog, I'm only now coming to terms that I'm a good singer. You know, because it's like after a life of being a shit singer, I'm only now realizing like, damn, like I can't believe it have people out there who really saying like, Viren is such a good singer. I look at myself as a great guitarist, but not a good singer, you know, but now I'm like, okay, wow. I like, how did this happen? You know, but yeah, so when I just started performing, I performed and I had a first performance, actually no, my second performance, and I came off the stage. I watched all my close brethren watching me shaking their head, laughing. And this was like a serious thing. This is not just singing for kicks. Yeah. It was a serious thing I performed, and all my brethren shaking their head laughing. It was like, Viren, you sound like a fucking frog. Never do that again.
How that made you feel though?
That's very brutal.
Dog, I want to kill that man. I legit want to like slit this man's throat, dog. Big man. And then I went to him, I was like, I didn't even think about myself. Like, that's the thing. Like, he made me so angry. All I thought about was him and not my singing. So I just kept on. But then again, it's like music is by then it was like at least a decade into me being a musician. So it was like, at the end of the day, it was always for myself. Why I wanted to sing is, you know, like as I got older, it wasn't the whole goal of stardom. It was the goal of being a great musician to myself. Why I decided I want to sing is because I wanted to, instead of like having to play a song on my phone, I would like to play it to myself. If I could just pick up my guitar and noodle around and then sing some song that I love, that would be so convenient, no? You know, so that's why I want to sing. It was always for myself, never for anybody. So it's like them telling me that I wouldn't even take it as constructive criticism, honestly. I would just continue down my path and I would just learn and get better. And like, I guess being self-aware also of the singing and being like who I am in the Caribbean, living in Trinidad, and like and like also coming like finding artists who had similar type of voices as me and kind of leaning into that, but also still making it my own. That's how I did it, and like led into being more comfortable as a singer and a more skilled vocalist.
I'm sure all those men jump on the train now, though.
Oh yeah, well, they real support me now, and it's like, dog, it's actually interesting how that's work, bro. But it's like, I'm not, man. I do look at that, sit down, and be like, watch them now, I now doing shit, and they come. It's like, I just look at it. I probably would have do the same. A lot of us will do the same. Hey, this man is us, and then they're doing some good shit now. Like, why would you buy into a motherfucker who's not doing good? At least in their perspective. I always thought like I was doing good and like I was delivering something good. They could be looking at my singing or be looking at me and thinking, what you trying to do? Like stick in your own lane, But yeah, like they didn't buy it at first, but after a while, all my cover years they didn't see it, but then Change released and they see that all these brand new people and thing, like just coming into my life and thing, and then Russian SHENSEA, which was another like height, and then they realized, wow, this is really a thing. And then what's great too is they themselves, and that's what is weird, that you like to prove yourself to the people that hate you, and you shouldn't, like you shouldn't operate with that in mind. That's like, fuck them really, but I just felt so good with the fact that they love my music and it means so much to them, So, and they always remained my brethren, because I was bullied all the time. So that was like, that was like regular to me. Yeah, that was regular thing. Oh, your brethren's clowning. Yeah. Oh, well, So, but yeah, they will come out all the time to my shows now and really make the effort. I always used to look at them weird and think before when I was doing covers. I was like, dog, none of all you could come out and support me, boy. But like, yeah.
Now it's cool to support you, so they jump in on the train.
Jump on that train one time.
Well, going back to the two hate comments you got, and you said you was down for a day. So you would have been a little depressed and thing. You ever ran into any like depression phases in your life, whether it's through music or whatnot?
Dog, like depression hit me in a weird fucking way, dog. Like for people, it's just they get in a rut, and before they realize it, they're depressed. It's happened over months and shit like that. For me, it was a weird thing, So, and I remember it clear as day because it was almost as if like my life changed in a day. And I remember in 2018, I went to Yuma, right? Yuma had a band launch, right? And this would have been 2017, I think. I went to that, right? And I kissed this real beautiful girl. Right?
Wait, do that again. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think the mic might have picked that one up.
I didn't whisper it.
Yeah, it come true.
Really?
Good job.
Yeah. So I kissed this real beautiful girl, and I was so fucking proud of myself, dog. Bro? You know when you kiss a beautiful bro, dog, and you're like, wait, this is me, bro? This is what I'm about? Hell yeah, bro. And I was like, because I was in a point in life then where I was just good. I was cool and confident and shit, and I was like at a good fucking point in my life. It's like, I flung this girl who was like so best, and I was like tracking her from the sideline. So no serious thing. I wasn't like on her, hoping to get through with her and thing. Like I actually didn't even really speak to her much since then. It's just I flinged down, I went to him, and I just felt good, boy. Dog. And then what is weird? And like this is probably like I don't know anybody else who something like this happened to them, and I don't know if there's any scientific term to explain it, but when I went to him, I woke up in the morning, I was getting ready, like, okay, I think this would have been, Yuma would have probably been on the Saturday and school would have been on the Monday. So this was like Monday morning, again, ready for school, having a hot shower, and you're going through a lot of thoughts. And then I went down this pipeline of thought. Like, it's almost that confidence I built up before that moment was almost fickle, because I thought, I led myself into a kind of thinking then that that if I'm so confident and it allows me to, bag a beautiful girl like that, the opposite could be true. Like, I could also be not confident and not happy and not have a happy life. And it's so fucked up. Like, I just led into that kind of thought, and I examine these things a lot and thought patterns and things, because I real like, I'm a big analyzer of my own thoughts, And I started thinking, and I going down that thing, and I realized, like, me staying confident is all up to my mind, and the strength of my mind. And it's almost like my mind started fighting itself till the point it was fickle to maintain that confidence. And that sent me down years of a lack thereof. It was... So it's so surreal and so fucked up. Like, when I was going to school in the morning, like, I feel like it's almost like I gained a second consciousness, and I was learning how to deal with thoughts and like opposite thoughts and things like that. Because if I could be happy, I could convince myself to be sad. And it's like, the fact that I had the power to do that, I realized in the shower. And I didn't think of that before. Like, I probably knew that, but like, I never really deeped it like that. So on the way to school, like, for weeks at that time, I feel like I couldn't have any proper thought. I was just so like distant and like dissociating from reality, because when I was like in the car with my mom driving to school, like, I feel like there was fireworks going off in my head, and I couldn't think of anything. Like, I couldn't, like, think like normal thoughts to have this conversation here, Like, it was just so weird. And it was like, I was closing my eyes, like, stop. And it's just fireworks, like, explosions going on in my head. And it's like, I couldn't form thoughts. And that happened. That was going on for weeks. And I told my mom, I was like, Mommy, I just, like, can't get fireworks out of my head, and like explosions. And like, I feel like I lost control of my own thought and mental capabilities. And then that led to years of like mental fickleness, and it led in a way that I felt like I was changing, and I didn't know if I was, and I was definitely changing. I felt in the moment for the worse, because in Yuma, I was one man, and then Monday morning, I was another, and that, like, that's the old me. Changes can hurt when you've lost the old you. That's how that came up. Wow, this is gold for your podcast, because like, I never like went into that ever. Like, I never thought about that like since, but yeah, that is why change came about, because of that weird moment. I don't know what in science that's called, but like,
yeah, the epiphany, bro.
Yeah, basically, bro. Like, so yeah, like, I changed in a matter of 2 days, and it went down a path into like a whole different version of me. Like, when people like I was a real obnoxious guy before, and then now, like, but I think it took those years of just being in the rut, so it's like coming back to what we said much earlier in the podcast, is that like, I didn't have the maturity to finish that line, and that's the line that I played for Richard,
right.
And I completed for SHENSEA, dog. And it's weird. That's why change is like, I think I could, live my life and die, and I think change might still be, the best song I ever wrote, because like, but actually no, let me not put that on myself. I think I have like great songs in the chamber still, but it's like, whenever is something like that gonna happen again, something as crazy as that, So I needed the maturity because it's like, all I knew then is that in a matter of 2 days I changed, and then I lost the old self, And yeah, and the other line, I think I had those other line. I'm having a hard time finding myself. And it took me 2 years to a point where I think I found myself. And that's when I finished Change, which I put in the line, the verse in the song is like, it's been 2 years since I wrote the song, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I really want to listen to that song after you give us that story again.
Yeah, it was.
So how did you find yourself then?
I mean, so, you know, in depression, like one would see they spend more time in their mind than in life. You know, so I was just, years was just going by here, you know, it's like, why people will say I'm an old soul, it's like, I was aging here, like I felt like I was like 90. But now in my 20s, it's weird because I feel like a kid again in my 20s, being 23, graduated university, like I'm looking at the world in a brand new light now. So it's like I used to feel so old then, and I feel like, yeah, that's it. That's life. You know, I'd done, like, seen it all, you know, and yeah, like the depression, like, allowed for, like, me just thinking, and, you know, building myself, like, without me being conscious of that. Like, all that time I thought, like, I was a horrible person, and that's it for me, you know, but, you know, years go by, and then you look back and you realize, wow, like, I changed so much, you know, and yeah, that's why that song allowed for great change in my life, and that song was about changing my life. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it explains that 2-year period from 2018 to 2020, and then explains 2020 to now, like, and why I'm here, right here at this second now, you know? So, yeah.
What's the creative process behind her coming up with a song, producing it, writing it?
Yeah, so it really varies, honestly. Like, it could be as simple as you come up with a cool verse or a cool lyric in your head, and you say, okay, this would be great to have in a song. So, like, you build a whole song around it. Most of the time, I find myself, and a lot of artists will be the same some way or another. You find a melody first, or you find like an instrumentation first, which leads to you building the melody, and then the lyrics come after. Most of the time, the lyrics come after, because at the end of the day, like, while I personally, I knew if I were to do something great with music in Trinidad, like, or just in life, just in life, you know, and in the world, like, I knew, you know, it's only one chance I have, and I need to cover all the fucking bases. I need to have great production. I need to have great instrumentation that's not just good for Trinidad, but good for the world, you know, and like so, like, distinct. You know, even though there's, like, so many variations of all these songs I do, and, like, so many things you could like in my songs too, but I wanted it to be, like, you know, a singular entity never done before, you know, which they are, because, like, you know, I scanned through a lot of songs, and so I wanted to cover the instrumentation good, have a great guitar, put my all and all my skills into the guitar, and have unique melodies, and most of all, what a lot of people, you know, like, graze over a lot of the time without spending a lot of time in it, is lyrics. I wanted sharp, smart, intellectual lyrics, which the academia conversation comes into. And yeah, like, so, but at the end of the day, while I love a song, having good, the lyrics is what you listen to last. This is what you take in last. But I want, when people take in that last, they'll be like, I love the feeling when you listen to a song and then you decide to take in the lyrics and you realize, oh, fuck, it's good.
Yep. Yeah.
And then the song just becomes a legend to you, a classic. You know, it's like, well, nothing bad I could say about this. It's a great track, you know. So I want to do that. But at the end of the day, music is sound, you know, and sound is the instrumentation and the melody. So it's like, that's what artists would prioritize, and understandably so.
That's what catches people up. You hear the song on the radio, you don't really study the lyrics, to be fair, though. You suddenly how it sounds.
And I take it, like, most of these songs I love, like, I could sing the lyrics, but I don't even know what it fucking means. It's just words.
Yeah.
You know?
My opposite to that. I can't
Really?
listen to a song unless I don't like the lyrics.
Really?
Oh, that's actually interesting.
That's interesting.
Damn, I'm not even like that.
So when you listen to like an Afrobeats dog, you know what the hell them men say, but it sounds good.
Well, I can appreciate a good song like that, a catchy song, but the songs when I'm listening to by myself.
Oh, okay.
Sad lyrics.
Dog, I don't understand okay, so you listen to sad music. You listen to sad music?
I try to stay away, but I think sad music could be it could easily be tacky.
Okay.
You know.
But I mean like the whole thing surrounding listening to like Toten music all the time. I really don't get it though. Like
I never understood Toten music. Like it'll have some great songs I listen to that happen to be sad, but I never listen to like I know some people like when they're sad they listen to sad music, but I was never one of those guys to listen to a certain song based on feeling. Like I just listen to whatever sounds good, you know.
You know what it is for me? Why I listen to sad music a lot, dog, is I love hearing and feeling emotion through a track. And what is a more powerful emotion than heartbreak? And because most of those sad songs are about heartbreak and love.
Yeah.
What is a stronger emotion than that? I just like to feel and hear the emotion through the artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recently I really like started like just taking in how a song actually makes you feel though. And I feel like you could attest to it though. Like I feel like it's some mirror of what that artist is going through at the moment of them writing it and recording it, and like it just like transfers through the music to you, dog. Like you listen to a happy song and like it hits you in your soul and you just feel like upbeat, but then you listen to a sad song, you want to kill yourself. It's
It's an
terrible.
exchange of energy.
Yeah, it's real crazy how that works. So.
Yeah, I just love the varying feels like some songs give me, you know. But like for me, it's less feels and more like memories attached, or like the idea of what memories could be attached to a certain song. Like for example, when I heard the song, you know that song, everyone knows it, Electric Feel by MGMT.
MGMT is a big song.
Right, when I first heard that song, and you know a song is good when it has a previously established nostalgia to it.
Yeah.
You know?
It takes you back to something, but you don't know what it is.
Yeah. But it's coming. You know? You know.
Like their song, they also have a song called Kids, dog.
Yes, I know Kids.
I really like that song.
That is a bag.
But also the thing with it sounds like songs attached to whatever's going on in your life at the time. Like that song takes me back to a time where like, you know how like MTV or whatever used to have like a countdown?
Yeah.
Like they used to play that song on it, dog, and I just remember like how my life was then. Dog. And it's real crazy.
That's actually my favorite thing that music does is take you back. Which is why I listen to old music so much is because I just feel rooted in
that generation.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's because that idea of that whole generation, the 60s and the 70s, is spoken about with nostalgia by our parents. So it's like, you can't like, it's almost hard to look at the 60s and the 70s as if it were moments like now. You know, like obviously living in that time, it would have had lots of Vietnam was going on, then later the Cold War and all of that. And it's like on the day to day, obviously you wouldn't be looking at that as like, oh yes, I'm living in the 60s and 70s, you know, you're just living in the now, you know. But I can see past, and like all you could connect it is the nostalgia. So it's like, which is why I love old music. You know, it just locks me. I believe to live a great present is to treat it as a distant past, you know. Like if we living in this now, like, and it's so, you could change your perspective immediately. We're looking at this now, and to make yourself more present, you could look at it as like Kristen, Jerome, and Viren doing a podcast in 2023, and just picture yourself in 2016. You look at that as like this was, you know, the days, you know, and like. Me just saying that immediately locked me down, and like I feel much happier right now looking at it like that than just
way to put it out.
than just being it, just speaking. Dog, you know,
it's real crazy that you say that, because literally like 5 minutes ago I was thinking in my head, I was like, imagine like for like 20 years from now, we watching like Viren performing like Barclays, dog, and then we just sit on it, it's like, dog, I remember I was sitting on there doing a podcast with this man, dog, and it's like you pull yourself out, dog.
Yeah.
I want you to get yourself out of these situations. When
I'm
you
actually
really appreciate it,
so
dog.
happy I just said that because y'all would have probably be locked in. All of us were locked in, and now I'm out. You know, like you see the room, you see like people like here from a different perspective, and that's how I try to look at life now. And that's why I love old things. I love an old stone roll on the ground. Like my first thought is like, I wonder how long this motherfucker has been here. You know, like
what he's seeing.
yeah, bro. yeah.
I get that same feeling with like trees, though. Like I watch a tree and I'm like,
Yes,
damn,
dog.
It's been there for a while.
Yeah.
Trees
can't
have
explain it,
stories.
though.
Trees have stories.
Yeah.
Old buildings too, you know, I just love that shit. Old clothes. Yeah.
Sounds so crazy, though. I listen to any like alkaline popcorn from like 2016, dog. And it's just, it teleports you back
I
to that
was
time.
just
Crash
gonna
it.
say that,
You
dog.
get launched
Yeah.
straight back to that time.
If
though.
it's one thing that brings me back to the past faster than anything, is listening to like some 2010 to 2009 to 2015 dancehall. Cartel beat, cartel popcorn, alkaline like dog.
That was prime.
If
does
I
something,
hear,
dog. I
if
don't know
I
what
hear
it is,
like
though.
a raven, dog,
Yeah, boy, it takes. I listen to that shit all the time.
or like
to
a
be fair.
fall in love, bro.
It does wonders. I really don't know why that specifically though. But
Yeah.
it's crazy though. But even like our old soca though, like the 2000s soca, like, it
Yes.
does something to you though. It's just so much better than what they have now.
Yeah, and that's
really
the
can't explain
thing. That's the thing,
can't
dog. It's
explain
like we were looking at 20 years, and like you find now, and I see like this interesting topic of conversation going on that I've been paying attention to. Like you're seeing a renaissance of like early 2010s, like party music, like oh god, you know, like tonight.
Or
Like all them type of like
Calvin Harris or earlier than that.
no, like I talking like you know those, you know, the like,
Or like fun and thing.
black eyed peas type
Or
shit.
Pompeii and thing and
Yeah.
Bastille.
And you know, back in the day, like I remember during that time, a lot of people used to say, "Oh, modern music is shit." Everybody at all points in time in history, modern music is shit. You know, dog. So it's like that like it makes the whole question about like what music is good, what music is shit, a whole weird thing, because what is shit, what is good, you know?
Yeah.
So like, and it comes back to like, if you look at it with a nostalgic point of view, then you could look at it positively, you know?
I mean, maybe nostalgia adds to like the quality of the music though, because you attach like feelings and things to it. So
memories.
you
Yeah,
like it even
memories.
more.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that the song itself is better though. It takes you back to a
Yeah.
better time. maybe.
A song is never completely produced. You know, it's like memories add to the production of a song, you know, and it just delivers more and more as time goes by, you know.
And like it's crazy, like everybody has a different perspective. Like somebody could have gone through a breakup when like a banger dropped, and then they just associate that banger with the breakup. But then I could
Somebody
think
else,
of it as a completely different thing though. It could be the best time of my life though. So when I hear it, I'm good, you know.
That's like this Burna Boy song. What was that? The big Burna Boy song.
Last.
Last. Is it last?
With who?
That was the massive
How does it
voice
go again?
song.
Was it?
Last.
Yeah, that is a heartbreak song, you know. And everybody's jamming to that.
Yeah, everybody love that shit though.
Jamming. This time Burna Boy's crying though.
It's
Actually weird when you said that. Somebody told me something that like just like fucked me up. Like I was like, what? Like people doing this with my songs, but like someone told me, they're like, dog, like I love Change so much, but I can't listen to it anymore. He was like him and his girlfriend would play that all the fucking time when they were together. And they're done. And they're done. And he was like, he just can't. And honestly, that made me feel so good. I was like, wow, bro.
So the music that you make is not very common for Trini. Like indie music is something that people all over the world could appreciate. So do you have like any plans of trying to like go international, or like how do you think you could get to that that point where like people all
Yeah.
over will be listening to your music, or you could perform
Yeah.
outside?
So, now, there's so many articles on the answers, and it's right in front of me. I could make 3 TikToks a day, 3 good TikToks a day, and keep on doing that. And it's almost guaranteed success once you have a good product. And I think I have a good product, but like, I don't know, this is kind of weird. It just is like, I know what doing TikToks or like doing consistent content would do for me, yet still I don't. And I don't know why. And I'm trying to find a groove where I can do that consistently. But right now I'm banking on, it being a product that cuts through. And I think it has worked for me so far, that strategy. Like, generally, an artist like should focus more on the marketing than the product. But I think in my case, like, I might like probably real lucky. It definitely is luck, just everything in my life coming up to this moment. But and I hate to look at it as a product, but if we're talking in a business sense, the music being the product has worked for me as the marketing, while allowing me a certain sense of mystery, and I think in terms of like advice in business, like honestly, Rick Rubin said something quite interesting recently. He was like, whatever advice you get in your life, just know that the complete opposite of that advice made people successful as well.
It's true.
So it's kind of like finding a balance, honestly. And that balance is what I'm looking for right now. Obviously, like, because this has been such a thing that I've been doing for so long, obviously the goal is the max amount of people that could possibly, like you and your music. So obviously international, as big as I can fucking be. Like, I mean, I always am realistic to the point, like, I don't think I'm gonna be like Weekend or Justin Bieber, but you don't know how the time will change or how the music I make will change, because maybe I could end up in a path where I'm making more and more commercial music, and I would love to do that. Like, I have no problem in making commercial music, but once done tastefully. Because a lot of times in the history of music, there has been commercial music that have been great works of art. Like ABBA, for example, they were like massive in the 70s, and their music is, fantastic. Led Zeppelin, Beatles, especially, and nowadays, at least for the kind of music I like, Lana Del Rey, even though like Kendrick Lamar as well. I think so. That's my goal, like, the max. I mean, like, I just strive for the most amount of people in this world that could fuck with my music. Like, I don't strive for one thing, like selling out stadiums. That would be pretty cool. But I think the first step is just to get reach out to the most amount of people and just have them on their own kind of discover it. That's what I want. I don't want to, I like, it's finding a balance between pushing it down their throat
And organic.
and organic. And I think if people could find out organically, that's how you build people who love you. Like, they fucking love you, and not just like your music is just hits and they don't know who you are. Because you could be getting hundreds of millions of streams and they can't put a name to the face or the music to the face, So it's like I strive for that, just a large global community, and so for now, I'm going to continue what I'm doing. I think right now, if we're focusing on the product ends and using the product as a marketing tool, it means dropping music at like once a month to once a month and a half. And that's what I try to do now. It's hard to achieve the once a month when you're making music like mine, because you're not working with a beat. You're building everything from scratch, the guitars, the drums, the bass, whatever other instruments you decide to use. From scratch, you're building out a whole thing, and a lot of moving parts to mesh it together and mix it well and then master. So That's the thing now. So I'm looking to release. And with every song, and that's the thing, with every song, I gain a new fan, at least one, and it's like, if I could release every song and get one new person who supports me, that means technically, if I released 1 million songs, I would get 1 million fans, no? Yeah. So obviously it's not one new person you get per song, it's a handful. So I want to release more and more and more and let people discover me and start following me, come to my shows, and I hope to build that community better through shows. And hopefully till I reach to the point where I could find like a groove where I can keep consistent with the content and a day in my life, let people see more into my life. But at the same time, not too much in my life that the mystery is gone.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's really the balance between the two extremes of advice, So, yeah. And also being from Trinidad, like how I strive to do that through my songs is, and I will tell like every new artist who not just want to take it as a hobby, because if you do want to do it as a hobby, don't worry about all this business shit, because a lot of the time when you take a hobby and turn it into a business, it ruins it takes away from the joy of it. I, however, like, this was always coming. I believe that this whole business side of music was always coming. So it's like, when I just got into it, like when I just released Sunset Lane, the EP, like I used to be so upset sometimes thinking when the songs weren't doing good enough and thing. And when I realized these songs could never do good enough, like Runaway Lovers has 130,000 streams now. And I'm like, why not 1 million, boy? Why not 1 million?
Which one has the most?
Runaway Lovers, yeah. So it's like, crazy. I look at 130,000, and instead of looking at it as in like, this is more than a lot of my peers in the industry, I look at it as like, so much people have 1 million.
You always compare.
Yeah. I'm like, why can't I get that? I'm still so small. And it's when would I ever feel not small?
You'll never be satisfied.
You sell out a stadium and you'll be like, nah, well, I need to sell out 10 stadiums. I need to go real tall.
The Weeknd did this and Olivia Rodrigo did that. Yeah. And so I think what I would say to artists who actually look to take it serious and like actually, I would say look at your product and look at the art that you're creating, and then not just compare it to like other mainstream equivalents, but and worse yet, mainstream equivalents in your own country. But dig deep into the music, dig deep into the genre, and dig deep into other genres as well. Fall in love with music, not yours, but like music. Dive into it, analyze what's great to you and what's not, and then strive to be better. Because you're never going to meet the best. You're never going to reach the best, and you will never feel like you have the best. But if you strive for the best, even if you fall short, it's much better than what you strive to do if you're looking to do the best in Trinidad. So that's my thing. When I make music, or just really, I feel like anything I ever look to go into in life, I couldn't look at it as just being the best amongst my peers or best in my country, but strive to be the best in the fucking world. Like, you live in this life, you live on planet Earth. We are one global community, and now more than ever, we're all connected. Like, you could look at people in the US and think they have so much things better than going for them. That's better than us, and but in Trinidad, we have a unique culture and a unique upbringing that the world needs to hear. And that doesn't mean you have to write a song about fucking Laja Bless. Dog. But like, strive to be the best in the entire world. Like, bigger than Michael Jackson. Yeah. Like, bigger than the fucking Beatles. You owe it to yourself and your family and your community and your culture and your country to be the best in the whole fucking world. And I know we're not going to be the best in the whole fucking world, but...
Oh, you can say that, dog.
I mean, to be the best in the whole fucking world, who is the best in the whole fucking world,
Yeah. Well, who in your genre of music you striving to be as big as?
Who's indie people, right?
So indie, by nature means you like the max it could reach is a small level. But who broke out in the whole indie space and who's massive now is Lana Del Rey. But if I go down my whole acoustic pipeline, I think the biggest and like the biggest artist in my whole like singer songwriter acoustic thing is probably Ed Sheeran. Yeah, he's like definitely the biggest in that whole type of vibe. So
That man's a monster.
bro, like, you know, as cringe as like his music could seem now, like I think now like his music possibly like aged a little bad, but I think give it a couple of years and it'll come back to like favor, because a lot of people now like they make it seem like is like cringe or dated to like Ed Sheeran, and I don't even listen to Ed Sheeran's music now, but like I don't know where I was going with that point, but yeah, like yeah, he's the fucking biggest in the game as for that. Yeah.
So you don't think you could be as big as him?
Yeah, I think I could be as big as him if he did it.
Yeah,
you know,
why
and
not
he's
you,
just
though?
a guitar and his voice. You know, and I'm at my core a guitar and a voice.
Right.
You know, so yeah, and also trends come and go, and you know, sometime my music might be the biggest trend in the world. You know, so that's why I want to my thing is just continue making music, because that's what I could do, and I have no kind of stress or a lack of knowledge in making music. I know how to make music, and I have confidence in myself that, you know, I've been doing this for so long, I could make good music consistently, you know.
Let's keep pushing on.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, this brings us to the end of episode 9 of the Odyssey podcast. Today we had the pleasure of sitting down with our boy Viren Neel, singer-songwriter, upcoming singer and songwriter. He's doing remarkable things right now, and he is going to be the next biggest star coming out of Trinidad. I put in that here, so when it happens, you can come back and look at it now.
Yeah, young brother ain't ready for me.
Nobody's ready.
Nobody ready for you, not even Nikki.
So guys, if you really like this episode, please like, comment, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Instagram. We're on all social media platforms. We're on Apple and Spotify now. Make sure to subscribe to the channel on Apple and Spotify so you get notifications for the new episodes when they drop. And just thanks again. We really appreciate all the support. Very, very grateful for all of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right, folks.
Bye.
Right, folks.